Good morning, everybody, and it's an absolute pleasure to be here to share with you the project that Sylvia, RMC for the Beyond Creative China strand, is PIing for us at Goldsmiths, the AHRC Goldsmiths IIIE project. It's a UK creative partnership, and the IIIE, for the engineers and computer scientists in the audience, is a play on IIIE, but we talk about immersive, innovative, interactive experience. And we've got some brilliant people in the session today that we're going to introduce as we go through. And we've got a pre-recorded panel from some of our amazing UK and Chinese creative and technical partners, which we had great fun pre-recording. We didn't want to leave it to chance, and obviously time differences between the UK and China. And then we have got a reveal of some new research conducted as part of the UK China Creative Partnership led by Goldsmiths by our China PI, Dr. Pearl Wang. Data from 1,500 Chinese audience members of immersive productions shown on the 100 and something floor of the Shanghai Tower. Before we start, let's introduce ourselves. Sylvia, do you want to just say a few words about yourself?
Yeah, sure. Hi, everyone. Hopefully by now you know who I am. But if you are new to the Creative China session, my name is Sylvia Pan. I am the PI of IIIE, which is the project Johnny just mentioned. I have 15 years plus years of experience in VR research. Basically, I was doing VR before it was a thing, before it was cool. So nature of my research is really interdisciplinary. So I have a computer science background, but my research is very much about taking the perspective of how to use VR from, for researchers from other areas such as social neuroscience, medical training, and psychology. And more recently, I work a lot with the creative industry as well. So I am the co-lead of our CVR lab at Goldsmiths. And also I have a Coursera course online in VR with about 70,000 international learners, and also co-lead the MSc, MA, VR and AR master degree at Goldsmiths.
Brilliant, thanks Sylvia. And as I said, I'm Professor Johnny Freeman. I am Managing Director of IT Media Research, but I'm also Professor of Psychology at Goldsmiths at the University of London, where I'm also academic lead for knowledge exchange. So anyone who wants to work with Goldsmiths, please reach out, and we always want to work with the outside world. My background is as a psychologist focused on audience experience of immersive. My PhD 25 years ago was focused exactly on that. And really characterizing Goldsmiths DNA. My work, just like Sylvia's, is incredibly interdisciplinary. So we sit at the junction of psychology, design, computing, engineering, marketing, and of course, immersive user experience. Sylvia and I have had the pleasure of knowing each other for years. We actually share a shared contact. One of the leaders in the UK leader, I'd say, in the field of immersive, Professor Mel Slater, who was my external examiner on my PhD 20 odd years ago, and Sylvia's PhD supervisor as well. So we've got long-reaching academic history, and we've had the pleasure of working together for the last few years, merging Sylvia's incredible research, pushing the boundaries of social VR in a whole range of disciplines, with my engagement with the UK creative industries, and it's been an incredibly effective collaboration. Very, very quickly, one of the strengths of the IIIE project is that we brought the Innovate UK funded Audience of the Future performance demonstrator partners. That's a massive consortium you hopefully heard about on Monday from our panel there, led by Sarah Ellis at the Royal Shakespeare Company, where we brought many of our partners from that demonstrator to work with our Chinese partners that Sylvia has developed over some fantastic networking through a networking grant, which we'll tell you a little bit about in just a minute. Just one thing I just wanted to say about I2 is we've done over 300 projects to date so far. We developed one of the most used measures for measuring presence and audience immersion in immersive content, the ITC Sense of Presence Inventory. It's licensed to over 1,000 labs worldwide, and it was a pen and paper measure. It's still in great use, and we're very happy with it. But to make it even easier to access our metrics to measure audience impact, we now also have an online self-service tool, the audience impact metric, developed with support from Innovate UK, Digital Catapult, and in partnership with Nesta back in 2018. And one of the most exciting things about the IIIE project this year is that we've seen that measure now translated into Mandarin and used with Chinese audiences effectively and easily, and we're going to hear about that from Pearl in a second. That's enough background from me. Sylvia, a bit about your previous work.
Yeah, sorry, I'm just really excited to, have spent a couple of days in the Beyond conference, and, I just really want to tell you a bit more about my research rather than just under my role as the MC. So my research is very much about social interaction in immersive VR. My PhD thesis was psychotherapy for social anxiety in a cave-like system. I've worked intensively with social neuroscientists. We had projects such as, using VR as a way to understand autism. And recently I've been working with medical doctors in developing training interactions, so communication training for medical doctors for difficult situations. And also, in recent years, we actually had a project funded by Innovate UK, working with Maze Theory and Dream Reality Interactive, two independent AR, VR companies on AI character development for immersive gaming. So that's just a bit of background of me. And that's kind of my passion for immersive technology, and that's why I'm really, really keen, understanding what I can do, also using my background from spending, my first 22 years in China, to really help UK and China to co-develop really interesting experiences that will change and improve our lives.
Brilliant.
Yeah, so back to you, Johnny.
See perfect relevance and alignment of the two sets of work. And Sylvia and I were talking in late 2018 when we first heard about the AHRC network development grants, and Sylvia agreed that she'd be leading it. And we put together a consortium to build a network in the UK and China to prepare to anticipate the IIIE project. And that involved a whole load of activities, including workshops at Goldsmiths, a 360 VR to teach children Mandarin, and obviously trips to Shanghai, which for all of us who work in the UK-China space, and as we heard Tilly saying before, the food, the karaoke, the experience, the social side of being in Shanghai is actually unbeatable. It was definitely the highlight of my 2019. I even had my birthday party there in a karaoke bar, and I can't wait to be back. We're supposed to have been there about 4 or 5 times this year, weren't we, Sylvia? This is just a screenshot from the 360 language video. If you want to scan the QR codes, please take a second to do so.
Yeah, and
we will share that information after the event as well.
I'm just putting a karaoke slides here.
There are some karaoke slides?
Sorry, my background. Can you see it?
Yeah. Sylvia's, yeah, so I think that was your trip there last December, wasn't it, Sylvia?
Yeah. I have photos of you as well.
In the background.
Who was with us yesterday as well? Here. This is Andrew dressing really smart. We'll have more pictures and compromising videos later as well.
Don't worry, Andrew. As far as I know, they're not compromising. We kicked off a lot of our activity with the UK-China workshop in June 2019 at Goldsmiths, and some of the faces you can see on the slides here you're going to hear from today, especially Sarah Ellis there on the second down on the right. But also Friendred, who designed the IIIE logo, Sam from UK, and Ben from Punch Drunk, all partners in our various collaborations. We then went to China in July, and it was part funded by AHRC, and the October trip was then funded by Chinese partners. And through our trip to China, these are the companies that we agreed to partner with for the main IIIE project, and you can see them there. So literally leading universities in the area: Shanghai Jiaotong, Fudan, Shanghai Theatre Academy, Shanghai Tech University, and Beihang University, and companies: the Shanghai International Tourism Resort, Mirror Pictures, Hiran, Tencent, Education First Shanghai, and Lilac International. Just want to make a special mention of Lilac International because one of the big aims of IIIE is to enable the bilateral distribution and sharing of immersive creative content between the UK and China and the UK. And at Lilac International Shopping Centre, the image you can see here in the bottom right image, we did a VR is Great exhibition of about 8 pieces of UK creative content, demonstrated on headset with brilliant audience response that we measured also using some of our audience impact metrics. You can see here other images of various elements of the workshop that we did. I think we've got literally thousands of photos of this trip, and there aren't any where people aren't smiling. So I think you can probably feel from our emotion and our expressions just how much we're enjoying working with China. But it also had serious impact in the mainstream media with several of us, and thanks Sylvia for that photo of me on there. I think that was after a particularly heavy night of karaoke, being interviewed for a national news segment. It wasn't all fun, because we also did some serious work, and Goldsmiths signed a memo of understanding with Shanghai Jiaotong University, which was an unexpected outcome of the event. And one of the key elements of IIIE is that we've agreed to set up a Goldsmiths Mirror Research Centre in Shanghai as part of the IIIE project. But it wasn't all work either, because it was also fun. So we were at Tencent, we had some amazing food, and yes, we sang karaoke. For those of you who were able to join us last night for VR karaoke, you'll know how much Sylvia hogs the microphone.
Come on, Johnny, I was about to say same of you.
Just to say, these are just the logos of a lot of the partners, or most of the partners in our IIIE project. You can see a lot of the Audience of the Future performance demonstrator partners, Royal Shakespeare Company, MLF, Philharmonia, and Manchester International Festival, and then all our amazing China partners, both commercial and universities. So I think that concludes our presentation, other than to explain what we're trying to do with IIIE. And the answer is really simple. There are 3 activities that we planned. The first was to enable creative collaboration between UK creatives and China creatives, and the creative tech partners within those production teams. Now, we planned it before COVID was even a thing, and we were planning to be in Shanghai about 4 times this year, and obviously our plans changed quite dramatically. We had to resort a lot to digital communications, both in social VR applications like Engage and Altspace and VR chat, and Zoom, of course. That said, we were lucky. Early on in the year, we had a brilliant visit from 2 of our partners, Ling and Daming, who you're going to hear from in our pre-recorded panel in just a moment, where we were able to introduce them to really key people in the UK immersive creative industry, from National Theatre, RSC, MLF, Punch Drunk, Philharmonia, and key sector players, including the Digital Catapult. In fact, now before we show the video, I'm just going to say the 3 goals are collaboration and creating content that's localized to specific audience needs in both markets. Knowledge sharing, so understanding cultural differences from a critical and impact perspective, understanding what people like in the different markets. And the third is really finding a way to navigate through the complexity of trading in each other's countries and distributing content in each other's countries. And for that, we're incredibly lucky that BOP, you just heard from Connor on the last panel, BOP are in our consortium to playing a brilliant role doing that. So without further ado, I think we're going to call for the first video. This is a panel that we set up by asking some of our interviewees from UK and China a series of questions.
I think, sorry, Johnny, can I just interrupt? The first one is actually a few words from our Chinese partners, including Din Zhang, Zhang Weimin, and and Jiang, and Ling, and Daming. Yeah, sorry, so that was this 4 videos from them first. Yeah. Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, dear friends, it's a great pleasure to join this year's Beyond Conference. I'm Weiming Zhang, the Dean of USC SJTU Institute of Cultural Creative Industry, ICCI, Shanghai Jiao Tong University. Founded in 2015, ICCI is one of the 5 international institutes under SJTU. The establishment of ICCI was also contributed to the joint efforts of University of Southern California, USC, the local government, and the Shanghai Zizhu High-Tech Company. As an important part of the internationalization development strategy of SJTU, ICCI functions in integrating global world-class resources given the demands of industrial value chain and market development. ICCI features in its cultivation philosophy, internationalization, interdisciplinarity, and industry orientation, and aims to nurture the cultural and creative industry talents, boosting the spirit of creativity, innovation, and entrepreneurship. ICCI dedicated itself to be an international platform and a true innovator in delivering top-class education, research, training, and social service focused on the culture-related industry. ICCI currently offers 2 professional master degree programs, Master of Journalism and Communication, and Master of Fine Arts, MFA, focusing on the curriculum development in fields of art, philosophy, economics, management, design, and technology. ICCI students are expected to gain senior-level managerial positions in the wide range of culture-related industry, such as new media, entertainment, press, and publishing, network, and e-commerce, tourism, fine arts, and action. ICCI has been very proactively exploring and promoting its all-around collaboration with overseas top universities in the past years. Besides the long-standing relationship with the University of Southern California of the United States and the Cage Business School of France, ICCI also signed its joint master degree program agreement with the King's College of London, KCL, and an MOU with Goldsmiths, University of London in 2019. Goldsmiths is to be a vital international partner of ICCI in the next few years. Both parties will make great efforts to develop in-depth collaboration in degree program, academic research, faculty and students' mobility, and so on. 2 weeks ago, the Professor William Lanson, a well-known computer scientist of Goldsmiths, participated in ICCI's 2020 Art Valley projects and shared his amazing expertise with local audience as an specially invited guest professor. As we all know, UK is the first one to initiate the concept of creative industry in the world. The past years, creative industry in UK contributed a much larger GDP ratio than the financial services, with a super broad range from architecture of music, computer games, film production, and e-sport and action. The innovative and diverse creative industry has successfully developed itself into the major current industry in UK. Nowadays, the creative industry in China has witnessed its best opportunity than ever. With all-around policy, the financial and the scientific support from the both central and the local government, Chinese creative industry scales is growing at a very rapid pace. To promote and enhance the development of creative industry has been set as a national strategy, which will certainly bring huge investment and a new opportunity to all of us. Dear friends, we all know that the whole world is experiencing a very special time now. COVID-19, which caught us all by surprise, has hit countries hard and dealt a heavy blow to the world economy. But however, I also bear the strong faith and confidence that the hard period will be eventually overcome with joint efforts from the people of all ethics and countries. And the academic collaboration and exchange will continue to play the best role to build an even closer community with a shared future of us. Thank you.
Hello， 女士们、先生们，大家好，我是上海浦东国际市裁员的负责人江传荣，我的英文名字叫 Jack 江。我们的园区位于上海迪士尼核心区，度假区除了有迪士尼这样的超级文娱集团外，我们和好莱坞众多的著名影视公司以及英国的双重否定等影视创意公司都有着深入的合作。今天非常荣幸受到大会和潘博士的邀请。记得在2016年，我带领中国上海企业代表团来英国参观考察 Vive 合作项目，也是在这次会上我们认识了潘博士，他的智慧和创意思想给我们留下了深刻的印象。当然，他流利的中英文也给我们提供了很大的帮助。从那以后，我们每年都有不少的交流合作项目，也经常往来交流。这次突如其来的疫情使得我们只能用这样的一种特殊的方式和大家见面。可我们认为，灾难虽然改变了我们的生活方式，但是它阻止不了我们相互交流、共谋发展的决心和意志。另一方面来说，每次全球性灾难过后，都会催生出很多技术的革命。我们感受到了基于 AI 大数据、云计算和区块链技术上的影像技术和创意革命已经到来。在2019年11月，我们和伦敦大学金史密斯学院签订了合作备忘录，就创意设计、技术研发、市场运用、合作交流等广泛的领域达成了合作的意向，并计划在上海国际影视产业园共享空间建立联合研究中心。我们希望通过不同文化背景和思维方式的研发创意人员，通过两地的技术学术的交流，相互触发灵感，激发创意，也能够尽可能的把优秀的创意产品带给更大的市场，检验和运用。为此，我们通过研究中心将逐步完善上海、伦敦直通车的传统交流平台。我们还将设计和建立比如 VR 直播、创意大赛等创意交流模式。我们期待能和更多的朋友一起参与活动，互通交流和合作。我们园区在每年6月份是上海国际电影节“一带一路”电影周的举办地。除了有电影节的各项活动以外呢，我们还会有国际先进影像大会、BI 技术展、科学论坛等各具特色的活动。我们真诚地邀请朋友们来上海交流考察。最后，祝福大家，祝福每一位人，我们携手共同战胜疫情。谢谢大家。
Hey, this is Damin Zhang, a XR content creator from theater background in China. I had visited UK just before the outbreak of the pandemic at February this year. And this trip was supported by the cultural grant of British Council, so I was able to meet many different people in the XR creative industry. I visited companies like 59 Productions, Marshmallow Laser Feast, Dimension, and Satori Studio. Also institutes like Goldsmiths College, Royal Shakespeare Company, National Theatre. The diversity of this field is really exciting, and I was so impressed. This is my first VR work. It's called Orbit, a 360 dance film. I applied theater method into the creation of this work. We designed movements for both dancers and the VR camera. By this way, to explore the attention guide in the 360 environment. Orbit was lucky to be invited to showcase at Digital Catapult during my stay in London, and received positive feedbacks. This year should be its release, but due to the pandemic, many events were cancelled or delayed. For this reason, I started Hangout Orbit. It's a photo series from the lockdown, where I took Orbit in the headset to show common people one by one. Those people usually are not VR audiences, like cleaner at an empty school and usher of an empty theater. This series is still going on. I'm working on my next piece now. It will involve interaction and specialize in sound. For this difficult time, people are keen to extend our connected ways, and that's the potential for immersive content. I hope we can do positive changes together, especially for reducing misunderstandings between cultures or countries. That's what I see on the future collaboration between UK and China. Thanks.
Hello, my name is Ling Mao. I'm the producer working with Daming Zhang. I think for good international collaboration, one important thing is that you need to find a reliable partner. My trip to the UK this February with Daming was very productive because of the help of our partner, the Goldsmiths University, under the framework of the AHRC UK-China collaboration project. With the help of Sylvia and Johnny, we got to visit a wide range of key players in the XR industry in the UK. So the partner could share first-hand information about the market, about cultural difference, about what to do and what not to do, about the people you got to know, which is all very important for good international collaboration. Apart from my job as producer, I work for the China-Shanghai International Arts Festival, which is the only state-level international arts festival in China, hosted by the Ministry of Culture and Tourism. Our festival is held every year from mid-October to mid-November. We are a multidisciplinary festival, so we have music, theater, dance, we have outdoor programs, we have arts education, young talents program, performing arts fair, and forum. So within 1 month, we present over 350 events, attracting 5 million audience offline and online. So this is our logo, which is ART, shaping like a bird. So our website is www.artsbird.com. We work closely with international festivals and organizations. We co-commissioned renowned artist Yang Liping's Rite of Spring together with Edinburgh International Festival and Sadler's Wells. I think there's huge potential for immersive experience and XR plus performing arts. Audiences in China are relatively young and eager for something that is fun, special, and interactive. Our festival has been looking at this area many years ago. We held a forum focused on virtual reality and performing arts back in 2016. And then last year, we present several VR projects at our performing arts fair. So we will be very happy to provide a platform to showcase our works and introduce you to the Chinese market. I look forward to seeing you in China or UK when the international travel is back. And I wish the Beyond Conference a huge success. Thank you.
It's fantastic to see so many familiar faces that we have actually, we're really lucky to have as our Chinese partners. And actually, Daming, in particular, Daming and Ling, they were actually visiting us this February. And they actually stayed in the UK for longer than expected because of COVID. And it was also amazing to actually have Daming here sharing her work with a sort of VR 360 VR dance piece in Digital Catapult with lots of UK creatives here. And I think this is a great example of how we could actually share creative content bilaterally, not only UK to China, but also China to the UK, which is definitely one of the key goals of this IIIE project, because we think that is, the correct way of having a partnership. It has to be bilateral. So on that note, I want to pass this back to Johnny, who will be talking about the amazing research they have done in the space of audience research.
Thank you, Sylvia. Yeah, so Sylvia said one of the key goals of IIIE, as I introduced at the start, is the bilateral sharing of creative IP UK to China, China to UK, and Daming, a brilliant example with her production Orbit. I then said that the second key goal is audience insight and audience research. And that's one of the areas we were kind of scared would fall by the wayside this year. It looked at various times it would be impossible with COVID because audiences weren't able to access location-based immersive experiences for very large parts of the year, obviously. However, delighted to say that our China PI, Dr. Pearl Wang from ICCI, defied all the odds. She managed to not only translate our audience impact metric, which we've been using in the Audience for the Future and multiple other projects here in the UK, into Mandarin. She also managed to get 1,500 audience members to a VR exhibition in the Shanghai Tower to complete the measure. And she derived a lot of insight from it in her analysis of it. And we're now going to hear from Pearl on her study. So, Tom, the next.
Dear Dr. Pan and distinguished Professor Freeman, here this is Pearl Wang saying hello to you from Shanghai, my office, which is at the Institute of Culture and the Creative Industry of Shanghai Jiao Tong University. Very happy to join this conference by kind of Zoom University way. My topic is like understanding Chinese VR audience based on a survey research in Shanghai. Hope to contribute to you guys about how to understand Chinese VR audience. This project is sponsored by Shanghai Municipal Education Committee. So our purpose is to understand China's audiences, how they evaluate their VR immersive experiences, and what is their consuming willingness of VR, immersive contents. We conducted an on-site questionnaire survey during the national holiday from October the 1st to October the 7th. And we chose two spaces. One is on the 118th floor of Shanghai Tower, which is so-called like the highest VR space in the country. And the second place is in Yu Garden, which is also one of the most popular, touristic area in Shanghai. Totally, we got the number of samples is 1,539. This is the list of VR contents. Among them, there are different types of VR movies. Some of them are prize winner in some different international movie festival. The following slides are kind of data about the gender, about the age. So these are very general, respondents' portraits. So we got some findings. The first question is, who are VR audience in China? Since we chose the space, they are all located in the most popular, touristic areas. So according to the map of the respondents are like 43% from local Shanghai. But the structure, the rest part of the audiences, the structure, it can represent the national map. There are everywhere, all the provinces, but we don't have any tourists from Tibet and Xinjiang. Also, normally, we found that there are more male audience than females. Young people whose age are between like 16 to 20, 21 to 30, 31 to 40, these three parts occupy the largest population of the audience. And interestingly, I think this is pretty, happy surprise for us. There are 3% of the respondents are senior people who are over 60 years old. They are also willing to, enter such kind of a VR space to experience those very high tech, especially new tech. And about the education, half of the respondents are undergraduate, and even there are, 8% of PhD degree holders. This is also a positive signal for us. 20% of respondents are earning 5,000 to 10,000 RMB monthly. Among them, there are 46% families have one child, and 36% don't have any child. The following some slides are also about the respondents, their portraits, and also their usage habit. These figures can help us to answer the question, which is also the second finding. Why are Chinese audience interested in VR? About 75% respondents are confident to use high-tech products. There are only 28% tell us that they feel a little bit frustrated when they use high-tech products. Maybe that because of this very special time, because of the virus, on weekend, their favorite thing is to stay with family and friends. The second thing they want to do is to watch TV. Anyway, just stay in a stable place. Over 50% of respondents never experienced the VR contents before then. But the interest is that the most important channel for them to learn what is VR is offline on-site experience store or space like these two. For the reason why they come to experience, respondents think that it will be interesting to experience and they are coming for new, fresh experience. Meanwhile, Chinese people are very keen to learn. The same survey we did last year shows that to learn some new technology was the first reason for them to try the VR experience. Similarly, this year, it is also still the second reason why they came to experience. They think VR will be a great impact upon both of their life and career. So that's why they are interested in VR experience. So we also get some findings about the audience feeling or their feedback about their VR experience. Like the first one, it's a little bit similar as traditional movie. Science fiction contents are always, audience favorite, especially the space exploration. I think maybe that can indicate people really love to enter a real virtual world with some scientific, imagination. And generally speaking, audience, they give us very positive evaluation about their VR experiences. They feel the contents are powerful and memorable, and they are happy that VR made them feel engaged in the virtual world. And more importantly, people are more used to using those equipment, and they feel the equipment are comfortable compared with last year. Just now I mentioned that they are pretty mature products, and some of them are even prize winner products. So those products don't cause people pessimistic mood. So this is also a very positive signal. And then based on their positive comments on the experience, they are willing to encourage family members or friends to try VR like them. Because of the limitation of time, I just skipped those figures and just come to the findings directly. And are China's people audience willing to consume VR contents? I think the answer is yes. Compared with last year, interesting, 44% audience are willing to pay about 30 to 70 yuan RMB a month on VR experience. The same figure last year was less than 30 yuan RMB. It's almost double this year. And in China, a movie ticket is about like 30 to 40 yuan. That means audience are willing to pay the cost of 2 movies a month on VR experience. I think this is a very positive market signal for us. The average score of willingness to continue paying to experience VR is like a 74 among 100. Also, the score is like a 72 among 100. Feels it's the experience is worth paying. So this is also pretty encouraging signal. 74% people think the price is reasonable, 25% lower or 25% higher than the current the price will be acceptable. About the factors that will affect audience willingness to pay, there are 3 factors. One is the type of contents, and the second is quality of production, and the last one is price. This is a little bit unlike last year. Last year, price is the top one. Just now, we just share some very descriptive analysis, but later we will do some correlation analysis. For example, like we will, this questionnaire includes all the feedback to each movie, different movies. So we will do correlation analysis to specify what kind of a movie is worth paying and how much for a specific consumer is willing to pay a specific type of VR. We also working on the evaluation index system of user experience. We also can test this index in UK market to see UK VR audience, what their feedback about this index system. Very difficult to go through all these study very quickly. So thanks again, and all the questions and the discussion are very welcome. Thank you.
Brilliant to hear that data from Pearl, and thank you, Pearl, for preparing that for us. So exciting to see the audience impact metric Mandarin version being distributed to real paying audiences at VR exhibits in Shanghai, and participants willingly filling in the survey and being able to derive such a large data set, which is within the project going to enable us to evaluate differences and similarities between UK and China audience responses to creative, immersive content. In the interest of time, we're going to have to now move on to our final video, which is the thing I was trying to introduce right at the start, because I got ahead of myself, a panel discussion that we pre-recorded and edited together from some brilliant people, some of whom you will recognize and some of whom we will be introducing you to the first time. We asked everybody 5 questions. Their appetite for creative and cultural content, the key challenges they see in realizing a global market for creative immersive content, priorities for a closer UK-China partnership, and what their favorite immersive creative production is. And with no further ado, I shall let them speak for themselves.
Hi, I'm Alvin Wang Graylin. I'm the HTC China president. HTC is one of the leaders in virtual reality and augmented reality. So I guess what we would like to talk a little bit about today is maybe how we can apply XR technology to the creative fields, and where it's being used today, and some of the exciting things that are going to be coming down the road.
Hi everyone, my name's Luke Ritchie. I'm Head of Innovation and Partnerships at the Philharmonia Orchestra. Basically, we have a dedicated digital team. We've made a lot of digital content since the department was created in 2007, and we've been making immersive experiences since 2010, starting with big projection-based installations that toured globally, and we moved into VR, particularly 360 films. We made our first film in 2015, and we've made 4 360 films to date.
My name's Nick Mitchell. I'm a Kenyan-born Canadian who's been in China for past 13 years. Now I'm the founder and CEO of FXG. We're a VR content and technology company focusing on VR film. So we've developed our own 360 and 180 VR cameras, and we're making all kinds of content.
I'm Sarah Ellis, and I'm Director of Digital Development at the Royal Shakespeare Company. I'm also Project Director for Audience for the Future Live Performance Demonstrator, which is a collaboration between 14 partners of arts and culture, technology and research. I'm currently sat in our virtual Royal Shakespeare Theatre. We LiDAR scanned it over the summer, and what you're seeing behind me is a wonderfully LiDAR scanned image of our circle, and I'm sitting in that whilst actually really being in my home in Oxfordshire.
Hi, my name is Toby Coffey from the National Theatre in London. I'm Head of Digital Development, and in 2016 we established the Immersive Storytelling Studio. This is a space where we invite storytellers, so writers, directors, designers, choreographers, musicians, to come into the space and work together with the creative technologists to create new forms of audience experience, storytelling and performance.
I think there's huge appetite for creative and cultural content for immersive platforms.
I think there's infinite appetite.
The immersive computing industry, I think it's really going to redefine entertainment and culture and art.
So the appetite for us to come together as cultural content creators to find the new destinations for our work is super important. And what immersive platforms provide is a much more meaningful and connected way of us being together.
I would also say that we're very early in the evolution of the form of immersive storytelling, and that we need to be really careful not to restrict it.
I just feel VR lets you experience different cultures and experience like different ways of life in such a new immersive way. And once people kind of get the bug for that and they start really experiencing culture through VR, I think they'll never get enough.
It's the act of doing something together at the same time which really makes people feel connected and together.
I think that it's fantastic to be able to be at that intersection point between, a great artistic cultural organisation like the Philharmonic Orchestra and actually integrate with cutting edge technology such as Immersive.
At the moment, the environment is such that it's a kind of a niche endeavour in terms of the people who are actually able to get to see the work. The demand is very much there, and it has high levels of appreciation once it gets seen. But we just do need to recognise that this is a very early point in the evolution of an industry.
Every generation, there's been new medium that's come out to allow artists to express themselves in new and more exciting ways.
We're not just broadcasting out, but providing feedback loops that the performers know how the audiences are reacting to their performance in real time. And that, for me, is what the heart of immersion is with live performance.
We have such a broad, interesting world filled with so many different people and different cultures. And once people realize that you can get that through VR and you can experience it in VR, that's going to be an insatiable appetite.
The challenges around creating a market for immersive cultural content are still huge. It's still emergent, and it doesn't currently yet have the infrastructures that we need.
To really create high quality 3D content really does take quite some time to learn the graphics tools out there, and then to be able to integrate them into environments and add various levels of interactivity.
I think with VR content, it's similar to traditional content, but I think it's going to be even harder to take it global. For example, subtitles. In a VR film, when you're in 360, where are your subtitles? Are they below the character? Are they glued to your face? Do they pop up in different places?
I think the biggest factor, rather than a challenge, is time, in that it takes time for a marketplace to evolve.
I'd say the biggest barriers for international work are the initial upfront investment that's needed. And I think that is a barrier. To make this content is very expensive, but actually I do think that we make content that lasts for a very long time and can also scale once you've made it at a very low marginal cost, like most digital content.
I think the other major challenge is probably really the availability and access to immersive devices, which does right now restrict the number of people that can actually be able to enjoy and access the content that's created.
And also we need to understand that we're now programming for global audiences at the same time. So time zones, ways to connect, different cultural needs, different ways to approach performance need to all come together in one. And that's a huge opportunity as much as a huge challenge.
We're in a point in time where it's coming, it's just not here yet. So I think the challenge is probably the impatience of people waiting for something to come. And actually what we need to do is how do we move people away from impatiently waiting for something to be here and to be more proactive about creating an environment for the long term.
So for UK and China to really collaborate in the VR space, I think it's going to be a lot of communication, I guess I would say, of actually people meeting each other, getting to know each other, building projects together. And so I think actually once people take real projects and make them happen between the two, then I think the rest is just going to happen naturally.
For me, I think we need to very much work out what the reciprocal benefits are so that we can make sure we're setting up from the beginning a symbiotic relationship where together there are very significant and worthwhile long-term outcomes. I know that with Warhorse in China, with the National Theatre of China, from the very beginning, that was set up as a skill share and a collaboration rather than a traditional transfer model. And that, I think, has significantly benefited that show and is a commendable model.
Our priorities are to find someone who, has the appetite to invest in something that could really scale and have a long-term relationship, but also has that deep knowledge of in particular in the case of China, in the local market, and can leverage the brand and reputation we have with actual proper local expertise.
Maybe more, cultural and history exchange as well as language exchange to allow people to appreciate the history of both countries, so that when the content is viewed, they have the right perspective in terms of evaluating what's meant by the creative content that's being created by artists of both sides. Really enabling more free exchange of content, of artists, of culture.
I think the mechanisms to advance objectives around reach and ambition and scale can be found through projects such as the AHRC funded IIIE project led by Goldsmiths, because it's a really good mechanism to bring together a collaboration that is genuine in its intent, has shared objectives, looks at diversity of approach. And I think in those models really allow us to really test and imagine and make some really serious impact in both our markets that I think can have sustainability and legacy.
I'd say my favorite creative piece is Where Thoughts Go. It's an experience where you're in this kind of really, meditative space, and questions are asked to you and you actually answer them back into these kind of orbs. So it's this growing experience that keeps being added to. The more people use it, the more thoughts are in this piece. And so a piece like that is really amazing because you can hear the thoughts and dreams and fears of people from all over the world, from all kinds of different cultures, which is really, really cool.
Horrifically real virtuality, which I saw in Venice and I know has been shown in a number of other places. But for me, the element of audience engagement and then the kind of revelations that come through the storytelling and the audience engagement, I think work really well.
Just for the sheer chaotic fun of it and its social potential, VR chat, I love it. It's a bit like a 90s website. It's completely bonkers and has a wonderful eclectic mix of different things happening all at the same time, and I think it's a really exciting form of VR as well.
Dr. Crumb, and that was just sheer heavenly play and fun and entertaining, but active and could only be achieved in VR. And I think when we start looking at these experiences of them only being able to be a piece of virtual reality or only being able to be a piece of theatre as we know it, that is true success.
The Venice Film Festival or the Cannes Film Festival, both of which were done in the Vive XR suite, where dozens of movies and thousands of event goers from around the world are now going and entering used to be a fairly exclusive event and sharing culture and sharing stories from around the world. So, I think that's something that really excites me about what's happening today. Now people are much more open-minded, and that gives us new ways to share culture and express culture, and to make this world a little bit smaller because we can all better understand each other.
Cool. Thank you so much to my fellow guests, wherever you are. Thank you very much for the UK Creative Council for putting this on, and to the host, Sylvia. Really appreciate it. And keep doing things like this, because this is a really great first step to actually getting the UK and China in touch. And I look forward to seeing the projects and really the awesome experiences that come from it. Thanks, guys.